Ha! Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today, we got the next wave of armored figures from Power Rangers Ninja Steel. So we have these Ninja Steel Rangers, and in the first wave, we had the armored red and blue Rangers, as well as the armored Rumble Tusk Zord right here. So they feature Ranger figures, basically, just like this, and you can attach this on their arms, and they have like a little swinging action and stuff, right? And then when you attach the armor on, they transform to their master mode, or in the case of the Rumble Tusk Zord, it just becomes the full Rumble Tusk Zord. So these are actually really cool. I actually dug these a lot, because you get some cool like 5-inch figures out of it, and they look pretty decent with the armor on as well. Pretty easy to obviously just plop it on and off. And the little swinging action, like you get like a couple different things in one. So it's actually really cool. And so I'm glad that they're releasing even more. So this next wave has the armored White Ranger. Hopefully in the future we'll get a Yellow Ranger and a Pink Ranger, but as of now I don't think they've announced anything, but I might be wrong. But there's a White Ranger, and then we have the armored Robo Red Zord and the Dragon Zord. So the red and blue Rangers Zords now, we have these armored versions of these. So not necessarily canon to the show, this extra armor for these Zords, but hey, why not? You know what I mean? So let's take a look at the packaging here. So the little packaging kind of displays everything nicely to show you all the components here. You got your Morphin armor, Tornado Twist. So kind of has some functionality there. So you can kind of show, it shows how it transforms. You have that there. And then all 6 different armored figures on the back. Here's the Armored Dragon Zord as well. So obviously with the Dragon Zord individually right there, and then you add on, it also has this Tornado Twist feature, and then some Morphin armor as well. That does look really cool though, a little spike on the top there of the head. So that's certainly interesting looking, very interesting designs that they do. I kind of really like the American original stuff, whether it's Master Mode or these extra armor things. Like, I haven't been too big on Ninja Steel and their designs and stuff, but the extra armor and things that they've been doing is actually kind of cool looking, so I dig it. Here's the armored Robo Red Zord. So you have him on his own, and yes, I will try and fit him in the Ninja Steel Megazord, and we'll see how that goes. And then there's the combined form, which looks very interesting. So there's that. So yeah, so I'm excited to open these up. So without further ado, let's get these open and take a look. All right, so I got the armored figures out of the packaging. Here they are. And they're pretty cool. So very, very similar to the previous armored releases with the Rumble Tusk Zord and then the red and blue Rangers. Very similar, but let's start with the Ranger. So let's just take an up-close look in detail at the figure itself. So let's take the armor off and take a look at the Pink Ranger. Or the White Ranger. I saw the pink and I said Pink Ranger, but it's the White Ranger. So this is basically the exact same thing as the 5-inch Ranger. So in terms of articulation, you know, the head moves around, you got this movement here, bends at the elbows, this whole piece rotates around, the feet can move a little bit forward because of the skirt right here, bends at the knees, the foot rotates around. It's your standard articulation for a 5-inch figure that you have there. One difference being that you have a giant hole in the back, basically, and there's no paint in the back there. So for comparison, I want to bring in the regular 5-inch Pink Ranger on the left right here. So as you can see, the main differences are really in just paint. On the front piece, you don't have the pink outlines that go across. There's only the pink outlines on the helmet. And then instead of having white there, like the color of the Ranger, it's gold. And that's the same thing they did for the red and blue Rangers. They had gold in the front right there, so at least it's consistent there. And I like that it's kind of unique, so if you get both, you get these ones. So, but if you wanted to get one toy that was show accurate and had a master mode and everything, then this is going to be slightly lacking in that regard. But you still get a pretty good 5-inch figure, same thing really. And then the back just doesn't have the paint going across right here. But it's the same articulation, same thing, looks great, pretty cool. And once you morph to master mode, you don't really even notice. So here is the armor that it comes with. And there's a couple things that it has. So first of all, the armor itself, as you can see, Looks pretty neat. You have the white symbol on the front there. Really cool. You got kind of like this little power star design, so as if you could like flick it and stuff, but it's not really what it's for, but you know. But it does come with a little contraption like this. It's two little pieces that you put together, and this can basically kind of click in like that, almost. If I can do it. There we go. So it kind of clicks in just like that. And this is supposed to be a handle, and then this is supposed to be a crank. So you hold it, and then you do this, and it turns just like that. So if we kind of look at it from the front, there's your tornado twist feature. Which is kind of neat, except for the fact that this all falls apart when you try and have the ranger hold it like the instructions show, and then that happens. Ready? Let's do it again. Come on, you can hold it, White Ranger. The instructions show you can do it. Oh, okay, what, am I tornado twisting the ground? This thing is way too heavy for the ranger to hold. So that makes this basically pointless. And that whole tornado twist gimmick might as well not exist. So that's unfortunate. However, the good thing is, without that gimmick, it's still a pretty decent figure, because pretty cool figure as is. And then you can throw on this little piece right here, flip down the front and back, and then it just kind of pops in the back right there to hold it in place. And then you have a master mode figure right here. Oops, I didn't put that in properly. Put it in properly, now put it in the back. Okay, now it's even. So now you have master mode right here. And it's a pretty serviceable master mode. Yeah, it looks a little odd from the top with a giant gap right there. The shoulder pieces are pretty wide, but it's pretty serviceable overall. I mean, it's not bad at all, really. You still have pretty decent amount of articulation. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any weapons that she comes with, but if you have one of the other Rangers, you could certainly use something that it comes with there. But pretty decent, you know, articulation, though. So you can kind of have her posing in a different action pose, ready to fight, you know, however you want to do it. But pretty cool, you know? So now they did release a 5-inch Master Mode figure, which basically is just one piece, does not transform. So here it is on the left. So for comparison's sake, you can see obviously the shoulder pads are huge, and they have pink outlines here, whereas this has just normal silver outlines. From the promo image that is on the package of the 5-inch figure, the actual shoulder pieces, it's kind of hard to tell. But if you look very closely, like this one doesn't look like there's any pink, but if you look here, there's a slight pink right next to the black and then the silver around it. So it looks like in the show, it's supposed to have a little bit of pink. But it really is kind of hard to tell. So not a big deal difference-wise. You still have the chest piece in the front. Now obviously this is bigger and bulkier compared to this, but it's pretty serviceable overall. You know, these don't fold upwards like this one does, not that you really need it to. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty serviceable for what it is. The tornado twist feature, pretty lame. Doesn't really work properly because it can't hold up the weapon. But this as is, not bad. It's kind of cool looking. I like it. So there's that. So now let's move on to the Zords. So now we have the Robo Red Zord. So let's take off all the armor and just focus on the basic figure for now. So here he is, right here, the Robo Red Zord. Pretty good size. So you got like a 5-inch figure size right here. So pretty cool looking. So very basic paint. You know, you got some gold in the front right there. The face does look good though. Looks pretty cool. And then little bits of red right there. So pretty basic overall. Not that the main character really had much paint, you know, to begin with, but you know, there it is right there. The main draw with this figure is the added articulation, because the Robo Red Zord that comes with the Megazord looks like this, and it really is not meant for like posability and stuff. It's just sort of a giant clunky piece which is meant to transform, you know, into the Megazord, and you have the arm and, you know, that kind of thing, right? But here you have a fully posable figure, and it's much taller as well. So there is that as well. So that's the added advantage. So in terms of articulation, the head rotates all the way around, which is nice. The arms rotate all the way around, and they rotate horizontally as well. Elbow articulation. And the hand rotates all the way around. for the legs, they kick forward, they kick back quite a bit, and he bends at the knees as well, and then the foot rotates around. So you got a huge amount of articulation here for this figure. So pretty cool. Now this arm, it doesn't necessarily, like, see this one freely moves. This one kind of clicks around because there's actually a little gimmick in place, which is you twist the body and this arm punches. So like if you wanted it upwards, you have to kind of click it into place like that, you know, or click it down into place. So it's only set places, but that's the little feature right there, so you can kind of punch. But essentially, the reason behind it is you have this armor, and I'm going to take off this front little gold piece. So this is actually something that he can hold like a little weapon. So if I kind of just slide that in right there. So it's almost like a little boomerang type device. Looks really interesting. And he can basically sling it around. So that's pretty cool. You know, it adds, again, some added articulation, or not articulation, but like an added feature right here. And because you can twist the arm, you can do it this way, you can do it that way, you know, however you want to do it, which is pretty neat, definitely. But also, the other thing that they do is you can actually take this whole Ninja Star piece right here, this whole armor. So this is what it is right here. It's supposed to look kind of like a Ninja Star. Little bits of red right here, but then some gold outlines on the sides there. And basically, on this side, there's two little pegs, but the one that does not have this line going across, so this one here, can peg into the arm on the side, like so. And you have kind of like this Ninja Star on the side right there, and then you can flick it, so if you twist the body, he flicks that forward, which is kind of neat to have. It's this massive like weapon that he can kind of flick at enemies. The only problem is you do it a couple times a little hard and it falls off pretty easily. But still, you know, not too bad. And it's much better than that stupid like other twisting thing that they can't even hold up, this little contraption. Like that's just annoying. So that's certainly better than that. Armor-wise, what you can do is basically just attach it on, and just like before, like all the other figures, it just kind of pegs in the back, like so. And then this one actually takes the gold piece and it sits right in the front, like that. Which looks pretty cool, actually. I think it just adds added flair right there. And this whole Power Star fits in nicely. The red fits in very well. The added gold to the design definitely looks pretty cool. So this is not from the show, unless they're going to surprise us or something, but it still looks really neat. I dig the added armor. I definitely dig it. So you can still kind of even do the twisting thing with the arm kind of punching a little bit, so that's certainly nice, but I really dig it. I think it looks really cool. Definitely a huge bonus right there, so I'm pretty satisfied with that as well. So really, really cool, and I am certainly enjoying this figure here. And then the other main question that I'm sure everybody's asking, because obviously it's the Robo Red Zord, he fits in the Ninja Steel Megazord, right? So does this figure fit in the Ninja Steel Megazord? Well, I already took out the other one from here, so let's see if he fits, because he is taller than the one that comes with the Megazord, right? We saw that. He is taller, so it might be a little difficult, but guess what? He actually fits in perfectly. So there you go, like boom, that's it. Done. He sits right in, just very easily. And you can just kind of, you know, hold on to these little handles here, like so. These leg joints of mine are really loose on the Megazord that I have. Boom, there you go. Like, it is a perfect fit. It works great. I know some people, you know, tried the Rumble Tusk Zord in the past and everything. You might be able to force it in there. In my video, I couldn't really get it in properly. But this one fits in very nicely. It's just got a lean body, so it just kind of very easily, the Robo Red Zord can sit right inside. So even though it is much taller and bigger than the one that comes with the Megazord, it still fits in very nicely. So that is certainly really, really cool. So Great figure overall. If you're a fan of the Robo Red Zord, you know, it's kind of a win-win-win overall. It fits in the Ninja Steel Megazord just like the Robo Red Zord's supposed to. You have a much more posable version of the Robo Red Zord, and you have some extra just fun armor to add on as well, along with a little gimmick of twisting and punching and that sort of thing. So really cool figure, and I definitely, you know, think that's worth picking up. Now, can the same be said about the Dragon Zord, the Blue Ranger Zord? Well, let's find out. So let's disconnect the armor right here. Oops. Just so you're aware, these little wing pieces do come off sometimes. They're not necessarily like supposed to in terms of like for any feature. It's just they come off basically. So basically what they did is they took the exact same Ninja Star mold for the Dragon Zord and the Robo Red Zord. They just colored this blue instead of red, and then they attached these extra pieces on the side right here, basically. For the most part, it's actually slightly different. Like this one, I don't think has the connectors for it, or does it? No, doesn't look like it. But you know, so very much similar. It looks like in design. And actually, the more that I look at it, I take that back. I really didn't look at it too much. These are you see how these are kind of curved edges? So this one is kind of just more flat, like rounded edges rather. So it actually is kind of different. I didn't pay too close attention to it before I said that. So there's that. Now we have the Dragon Zord. So for comparison's sake, I'm going to grab the one from the Ninja Steel Megazord right here. Now keep in mind what you're seeing is there are different versions of this item here. So the Ninja Steel Megazord has, this is the one right here, and he also has wings, but the wings are in a box somewhere, and I didn't have time to grab them. But that's important to mention because a dragon has to have wings. So he has these giant wings like that. So imagine that. This guy does not have the wings. So keep that in mind. He doesn't, like, he looks like he's missing something slightly because you have these big legs and everything, and then a much tinier little body and arms, and like it feels like something needs to be there, obviously, because it's supposed to be there. So that's one thing design-wise. It just looks really odd on its own. But in terms of, you know, design and everything, you can see the overall design is very much similar, although this is much more streamlined and has more articulation. You still have the little gold piece in the middle there. Now this has blue legs right there, but you do have the red piece right there, the blue arms, and then the faces are also very much similar, as you can see right there. So that's certainly an added little bonus. So that's pretty cool, definitely. So the other thing that I want to kind of show then is the articulation. So articulation wise, the head rotates up and down, and it rotates all the way around. The mouth looks like it might open, but it does not. It's all one solid piece right there, but it still looks pretty cool. I definitely dig the paint job and everything, the gold and silver right there. So certainly looks pretty neat. There you have that. Pretty cool overall, definitely. So the arms rotate all the way around, and they rotate horizontally. He bends at the elbow a little bit, and then the hand rotates all the way around. The legs can move forward and back and to the side quite a bit. He bends at the knees, and then the feet rotate around as well. So pretty good articulation for what it is. Definitely pretty neat. And this tail actually comes off and also doubles as a sword, just like how it doubles as a sword for the Megazord, it doubles as a sword for this dragon itself. So if you kind of take it to be sort of its own little thing and not look at show accuracy, it's kind of neat looking. I mean, he's like this little dragon, he's got a sword, and he's kind of really interesting. It does look a little odd without wings, but not too bad. It's actually kind of cool looking, you know? It's kind of neat, definitely. So there's that right there. So let's take this off and put this back on here. Now, he also comes with, just like the White Ranger, he comes with this thing, which, you know, again, not so great, but you kind of click it on. Now this one, the peg also goes into the hole right here, so it kind of has to go all the way there and click into place a little bit like that. and then this is what it looks like when it twists. This one is slightly better at holding it, but still not super great. So give it to hold. Like, it kind of stays up a little bit, but let me see. But it starts to sink a little, and you really can't like do this well with it. Like, if I try and lift it up, I've already lifted it out of his hand. Like, it's just not a great feature. They really didn't design that part that well. But, you know, regardless of that, you still have some other cool features here. For example, this being armor. So if I lift his head up a little bit to give him some space, we can pop that over, and then the peg goes in the back, just like with all the armored figures. And oops, this fell off. And then the head just folds down, and now you have an Armored Dragon Zord right here. So really, really interesting looking. So very similarly, you have these giant shoulder pads there, but this design adds some wings. So that was the purpose of those little wings on the Power Star, is now he has wings. So in the regular mode, no wings, but you give him the armor, now he has wings, and now he feels a little bit more complete. If these wings were attachable without the armor, like if they had added a piece somewhere here where they could stick on, I think that would make it even better. But, you know, with the armor, it does look pretty neat, definitely. So I dig that. I think it looks pretty cool, for sure. The one thing I do want to mention, though, is I mentioned earlier when I was looking at the box that it looked like, from here, that he would have a spiked head. And I realized later on that that's actually not the case, and that's actually just his other wing, but the perspective of it makes it look like a spiked head. It's kind of like that, sort of, except it just looks like that's on his head, because as you see, there's nothing for his head and the instructions don't show it. So that's definitely one wing and then the other wing there. So there's nothing, no spiked head. That might have actually been kind of cool looking at this figure now, but that's not the thing that bugs me. The thing that bugs me is this hole right here in the front. This is not used for anything that I can think of. Because when you have this detached, you have it like the Power Star, you know, you want to connect it to somebody's arm or something, like you have this peg right here, right? This hole is not being used. The tail doesn't go in here, like nothing uses that hole that I can think of. And so it bugs me, because it's right in the front and center, you know what I mean? So if they would have added something there, I think that would have been perfect. Just like here, it's same thing here, there's a hole here for the Robo Red Zord, but they gave him this piece, and so it fits perfectly. Here, this just looks like they could have added one other little thing right there, you know? And then I was gonna say, well, they just reused the same mold. Sure, but they kind of changed it quite a bit, actually. Like, you look at the two designs, this one being like that, and then this one kind of more straight but curved right there. Like, they're two different designs, so they could have done something different with that. So, you know, it seems like with every one of these figures, there is kind of that slight thing that might have made it a little bit better, but overall, it's a pretty good figure. Now, the last thing that I want to show, and I know this is a long video, but I want to show you all the different things that you can do, is, you know, does this figure fit in the Ninja Steel Megazord? So, let's find out, shall we? Bring in the Ninja Steel Megazord, and ta-da! It fits! The feet kind of like poke outwards like that, but it works. Now, I say that with a slight caveat of you can't click on the helmet because the head is sticking out too much, so there's no space for this to go down and click in properly. It doesn't fit. So yeah, it fits like that, but it's not gonna make a full, complete Megazord like it should. So keep that in mind. They don't really advertise these figures necessarily as having compatibility with the Megazord. It's just something that I'm sure people want to do, so I just wanted to mention that. So it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to at least mention that for anybody that was curious. But anyways, that's it for these figures. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of these figures. I think overall, they're pretty cool. You know, the little twisty cannon thing, like this little thing is pretty lame. And one or two minor little things like the random hole in the front there and stuff. But overall, the individual modes are pretty cool. You got some good articulation. The added armor looks cool. And just overall, a fun toy to have. So I definitely recommend picking these up if you're interested in any of these individual Zords or Rangers. So definitely go check these out. I got these at my local Toys R Us. So go check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. So here are all of the Armored Rangers all together, and Zords, I should say. Pretty cool. I hope they expand this line even more. I want them to at least complete out the Rangers. Give me the, you know, the yellow, the pink, and then the Gold Ranger too, you know, and then add in some more Zords as well. Maybe the Astro Zord, you know, some other stuff. There's definitely some other possibilities that they can do, and I'm sure they will. They usually, if not in the Ninja Steel toy line, maybe in the Super Ninja Steel toy line, they'll expand that out. But I'd love to get the rest of these figures here, so definitely worth looking at if you're interested in any of these Rangers or Zords. This original American armor that they've added to the Power Rangers version over Ninja. It's certainly pretty cool in my opinion. It may be really odd and random, but it's cool for a toy, and that's really what it's all about for the kids. So definitely pretty interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Got more Power Rangers reviews on the way. Thank you so much, and I will see you later.